This is a tour of my Romahome HyLo. This is the interior. To the left there's a sink with electric pump tap. Beneath this is a food storage cupboard, known as the kitchen cupboard. Above the sink is the wardrobe, which is a very deep hanging cupboard with loops for hanging clothing, coat hangers. It's a very deep cupboard. It's my full arm's length, so very handy for storage. Opposite the sink is the cooking area with a 2-burner gas hob, electronic ignition. Underneath the hob is a grill, complete with grill pan, and beneath the grill is the fridge. It runs on gas while parked, mains hookup if there is one, or 12 volt while driving. There are 2 shelves and a freezer compartment as well that goes down to minus 18 degrees. It was serviced in January 2020. There's also a handy wooden chopping board which creates a workspace over the sink, and there's further workspace by chopping down these side shelves to create more working space, both for the sink and there's one for the hob as well. Then they fold back up again when they're not in use. The interior is very adaptable and can be used for relaxing, lounging. You can use the original Romahome table for dining, using a laptop or crafts. And when not in use during the daytime, the cushions are rearranged to form either a single or twin, large single or large king size bed. This is single bed mode. There's also an extension which fits onto these brackets here, which is handy if you're tall as I am at 5'9". And at the other end, the flap by the hob now forms a comfortable headrest. The bed can be extended by using the cushion to make a wide single, or a full width and full length, very comfortable king size. And to make it really cosy, we can draw the curtains, which have a blackout lining as well, and close the blinds. There are thermal blinds too, which you can raise to any height. There are fly screens too, which clip on. So you can have the windows open, lights on, and the flies won't come in, or you can close everything completely for darkness. There's a night vent setting on the windows. Just fix it over there and at the sides, and that gives welcome ventilation. Even with the blinds fully closed, the ventilation comes in through these holes. Also have bedside lights for reading in bed at night. LED, of course, 1 to each side. Can adjust the angle. There's also a blind for the rear door and a little modesty sporran, I think they call it, for the lower bit. A nice, cosy, comfortable bedroom, and still with the sink and hob accessible. There's additional ventilation via the mesh panels in the roof, and you can adjust the ventilation to suit by raising or lowering the flaps. And there's additional ventilation too via this Firma roof vent, which winds up like so and can be adjusted from inside the bed. And this can also be used if leaving the van with the roof down. For security, just open this vent. Underneath each cushion is a large storage pod, all made from fibreglass. This one is the rear passenger side, and this is where the electrics and the RCD are located. This is the pod behind the passenger seat. It's used for storage, but it also has these webbing loops which we fitted, and we use these for securing a 12-volt freezer when on longer trips. It also has this cutout here for the blade if you decide to fit a porta potty in here. Alternatively, a porta potty can also be fitted here in the aisle, and we fitted 2 lashing points to secure it. This is the pod behind the driver's seat, and in here there's the water tank. You can either fill it here at the top or from the external filling port, and there's also a pump tap as well. Finally, this is the 4th pod, which is next to the gas hob. It's a smaller pod, but still ample space for storage. Further storage here above the cab, where we've currently got the original Romahome table and the space for bedding or whatever you decide to put in there. Also got these very useful pelmets which run along the full length of the van on both sides, and these are really handy for all those odd bits and pieces. Also a further storage area here above the gas hob. This Romahome is especially well equipped for power, and particularly for off-grid power. It has LED lights with 2 levels, low and high. This is at the rear, low and high. The bedside spotlights, and 2 solar panels on the roof, each 100 watt. This is one of our best investments in the van. Absolutely brilliant at producing free electricity. Currently got 0 going out. It's generated 1000 amp hours. Battery level is currently 14.3, 14.4ish. 26 degrees and 0.7 amps, 1.3 being generated at the moment. Couldn't recommend this more highly. The solar controller also has 2 USB ports which are handy for powering and charging various gadgets and devices. The hob and fridge run from gas from this propane bottle in the locker. To switch on, open the bottle anti-clockwise. For changing bottles, we replaced the original spanner fitting with this thumb wheel, which makes it so much easier. Anyway, gas is now open. Switch on the gas to the fridge and the gas to the hob. I'll demonstrate the hob first. Open the lid. Very fiddly now with only one hand. Press the ignition. There, that's lit. And the second, very fiddly with one hand. That's lit, they're both there running. Now the grill. That's lit, if you can see that. To light the fridge, turn that to the flame mark. If you can see that, I'll hold that in with one finger. Then press the yellow button. You'll hear the bit of a whoosh. That was it. Hold it in for a few moments, and then the gas is lit. You can possibly make out a blue flame in there. It's a bit difficult to see with the camera. But if it wasn't lit, that would be flashing and clicking. So if I disconnect the gas, that should flash and click to indicate no supply. Like that. Above the Zig is the Eberspacer, which produces 2 kilowatts of blown air central heating. There's also a cool fan as well. And there's a thermostat, so that's high and low. Just to demonstrate, Takes a couple of minutes to kick in. This is the Hdi spacer, and at the far end is where it goes through into the habitation area. So it's blowing warm air now. There's also a cool fan option, which is handy in days like today when it's very hot. Now with the Hdi spacer running, albeit on cold fan, we should have a bit more juice going into the leisure battery via the solar panels. 3.3 at the moment. This is the ZIG unit for monitoring the electrics. This is the caravan battery, the leisure battery. That's the engine battery, but always use the caravan battery for lights, water tap, etc. That's the control for the tap, the light and the auxiliary, which is this 12-volt socket here on the hob. Now I must point out that can sometimes be temperamental, and I suspect there's a loose connection in there somewhere. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The roof only takes a moment to raise. Push up the clip, release it, grab the handle and push. Then it's up. It's got these mesh panels. Then to take it down, do the reverse, grab the handle and pull. If you're short or not very strong, it helps to stand on the step. But it does go down quite easily. When you get to about the halfway stage, to make sure you don't get the canvas trapped, just pull it up into the corners and then roll over the PVC. And then you have a nice neat job. For stability, the Romahome also has rear steadies, which provide stability and prevent that bounce if you've got several people in it walking around. These wind down by inserting this winder into the hole at the rear. Very easy to wind up and down. So that's up fully, and now wind it down again. This is the front of the Romahome. The passenger seat lifts and tips over, so this now forms a handy platform base. The seat tips over like so, and this reveals the leisure battery, which is an upgrade, 130 amp hours. We also fitted 12-volt sockets, all individually fused. These are handy for charging gadgets, running laptops. We powered a 12-volt compressor freezer. This is the ZIG box, relays for the fridge, blade fuses. Oh, and these are some lashing points that we fitted in case you want to carry bikes or porta potty or anything in this space. It fastens it down in the event of an accident and prevents everything flying forwards, just a safety feature. And finally, the all-important mechanicals. Switch on the ignition. The bleeping is because I haven't got a seatbelt on. It also has air con, and this is the switch for operating the fridge via 12-volt while driving. And now to look under the bonnet. the 2-litre HDI engine, which is nice and smooth, good performance and regularly serviced with full service history from new.